This auger's got a hole worn in the bottom on the boiler. Anyway, we're going to add a stone trap while we're going to have to clean down to weld. We got these chutes that we use for the seed snouts. We're going to weld two together, cut the bottom out, and then make it so it's like a bit of a big plane, like a combine stone trap. So I think it's the air ambulance actually, and then it'll grab anything heavy, it'll drop to the bottom into the chip, and then the auger will carry straight on. And every few weeks we can just pull the chute out, drop it into a wheelbarrow, and then carry on again. And hopefully it'll stop some of the stuff jamming in the ash augers. The fast track is brimful of diesel, which we don't want to trade it in with a brimful tank. But the digger needs diesel, so the digger has its own little pump that drops in, and then we can top it up. Don't want to trade it in with 400 quid's worth of fuel in it. Yeah, it's this little pump down there. Turn it on and off with that. Fill its own tank up. Oh, that's its tank there, isn't it? 101 uses for a seed snout. We've now made a stone trap for the boiler. Just taking the high lift jack off the back of the fast track because we leave it on in case we need to double trailers up in the summer. Anyway, the nuts fell out of that, so hopefully, what would it be? It'll be M12. So we want a washer and a nut. There's the nuts. On my cramp rack, and there's the washers. It was an easy fix. It's kind of a sad day, to be fair. Have I done the right thing? Yeah, I'm sad to see it go. I like the fact it was British. I like how comfy it was on the road. I think that's is better in the field though. It is really well balanced, the fast track, and it is good in the field for traction. But if you're in a field that's a bit marginal, it's a bit sticky, it's a bit soft, and you start to sink, because the wheels aren't the same size as the back wheels of a conventional tractor, you haven't got to sink much before suddenly you're at a disadvantage and you're stuck. But most of the time it is relatively well balanced, and on the road, you know, it's just unrivaled. But the Valtra, I think there's just a bit more going on it for the kind of work we're doing at the moment. The deal added up, so yeah, there we go. I think we've had fast tracks for 4 years now as well. But we did used to have Valtras from 1997 until about maybe 6 years ago, when I sold the last one by mistake. But yeah, back on a Valtra in the fleet. Loads of people saying what happened to Andrew's Valtra. Basically, yeah, he didn't really use it much because we had loads of the tractors and he spent more time driving ours, so he stopped being self-employed, and there's no point in him having it, so he sold it and bought an Audi, and then he swapped that for a Fast Mini. So there you go. Yeah, that's what happened to the first Nemo. It wasn't actually mine, it was Andrew's. But yeah, Nemo is back. You know the biscuits that we had on the Amazon wish list, and we ended up with like loads of them, so we tried to ration them. These are the last 2 packets now. That's how long they've lasted. I think it's about 4 months. So anyway, thanks again. I think Ian sent these actually. I think the rain gauge has got a spider in it again. They keep, I don't know whether they need to put it on a roof rather than on the floor. See how it's still full of water. I have to try and clean it out. Actually, I think it's a dead beetle. You'd wonder how they get through the mesh really in the bottom, but it obviously is. Tell me you've took the gas bottle to the well for welding in the boiler room without telling me you have. They're just starting changing the wheels now on the Bateman. Rob's going to take a load of chip on the Valtra, see if it's much slower than the fast track. It does knock on a bit though. We don't quite do 60k, but fast track used to do 65, but we'll see what it's like on the hills. Right, we're now in winter spec. He's got his big boots on. Let's go and cut some beans for Bill while Andrew goes spraying. There's Morgan with the header. Combine's just getting a little bit of diesel in it. Can't wait to wash it off. As soon as we finish Bill's beans, we've had a good wash off. Don't know how far off the sunflowers are going to be or the summer barley, but obviously it's going to be a Cheshire ploughing match, so we need to get it ready for that. It's going to be a good day Cheshire ploughing match, hopefully. Normally is. There's Morgan's radio ready to go. Just take the last one out now. No, 2 to go.
2 to go.
936 update. James is taking the injectors out now. We're going to get them tested and then check the sleeves that they sit in, because that's where we think the air is coming from. So hopefully we'll know a bit more today or tomorrow. Yeah, next stop, the airport. Talking of airports, had a quick look. Apparently there's 6 flights a day from Liverpool to Dublin, which is the closest airport to the Irish ploughing champion thing. So there's, I don't know whether there's a possibility of flying in maybe next Monday night, late flight out, go to the ploughing thing in the morning on a Tuesday, get back for a meeting then on a Wednesday. Don't know. I suppose all the accommodation will be gone though, won't it? Typical, foot away from the curb, by a telegraph pole, no way I'm fitting through there. On the banks of the river, underneath the control tower, cutting Bill's beans. Now, this is quite like land, it is a bit of a wet field. Bill sowed his beans at least a week, if not 2, after ours. And so far, they look like they're doing half a tonne more to the acre, which is a big difference between a tonne and a half. So what was it? Was it the hot temperatures and these weren't mature enough to be damaged by the hot temperatures? Was it the rain was knocking the flowers off on ours because they flowered earlier than these when we had all that hot weather, or the hot? Or was it the rain, or was it the heat, or was it the hot weather and a different growth stage? Because there's not really any explanation at all, other than that they were sown a bit later. It could be a different variety as well, actually, that's the point. They were drilled with our drill as well. Yeah. Saying that though, I do think the beans that we drilled with the Avatar yielded better than the ones with the clay, because I think they held the moisture in a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I'll see when I get in the field, but the headland certainly seems to be doing all right. They do look a little bit shorter in the middle. But if I was Bill, I'd be pleased in this year how they're doing. Yeah, this end of the field, they get a bit thin. I just wonder whether by the river, because there might always be a bit of a breeze, it maybe never got the temperatures perhaps. Finish the field, empty the tank. I don't know how them beans have landed up on that track. You nearly think the tank was leaking. The auger, but I can't see anything at all. It's a bit strange. Got a few knife sections gone, so just gonna change them now before take the header off, ready for the next field. So easy when they're not riveted, aren't they? There's another one. Oh, there's one next to it actually, isn't there? That's not so bad. There's only that one's a little bit chipped. But I think we'll finish cutting the beans, because you do catch them on the floor. They cut really easily, but you're kind of scraping stones. But I think we've had our money's worth out of this knife. It's done 2,000 acres now. Just finished that field, so we've come back to Bill's yard. I'm just going to run the tractor to the field for him on my way home, because they're digging spuds. So I am on the 7530, the power quad, 6,000 hours. It'd be immaculate if it was dusted. Spuds this year, the tops as they're dying off look like beans, because they're actually just as tall. You know, they're slowly getting through this field here now. It's quite heavy ground up here, so they're trying to get as much of it dug before winter set in as possible. Looks like next door Philip started drilling wheat. Seen another neighbour out today drilling as well. We normally would have drilled quite a bit by now, but we're trying to, like I say, get this flush of grass weeds because it's been a bad year with it being dry in February and then coming wet, and then because we had to move soil, which makes weeds grow, because we had to correct any damage we've done with the combine, cutting in and different things. Thought, well, we'll just try and get that chipped by working the ground level, and then we'll drill as late as we dare. You see why you have so many tyres underneath spud harvesters. We obviously had a bit of rain. We had about 20 mil of rain in the last couple of days. The tractor's nearly sinking more than the harvester because it's got so many weights on there, so much tyres on it. So I paid for this today. Well, signed the documents at least. We'll now pay it off over the next 5 years. Looks like Rob's been messing around with the screen. I'm gonna go and see how Rob's getting on because he's rolling. So I'm gonna take it down the road and see what it's like, because I've only driven it across the field with the front flail on and the Sumo on the back because I've not been able to get the lads off it. So I'll take it for blast and see. I've not left the yard yet, but before I forget, because someone rang me, but before I forget, I might be going to call it this on Saturday. I'm going to try anyway, and then it's party in the park up near Charlotte's as well, so I'll be at that. But yeah, Sean that we bought a crusher bucket off and the screenery bucket thing, they've got like a bit of a plant demonstration going on near Trafford Park in Manchester, so I said I'd mention it, so that's it. So I might see you there. Well, it absolutely flies. It's got a slightly higher driving position as well in the 724, which is nice. So yeah, I like it. Second 936 update of the day. The injectors are out. Rob has got a video. It's poor quality and it's filmed in the wrong way, but obviously the injectors sit in here, and I don't know where you can see, you probably can't see. They basically what squirt the diesel into the engine, and if you look at this video now that Rob's done, you'll see one of them is black because it's been getting compression blown up through it. So the injectors have gone away to be tested. Here's the video anyway.
Right, 936 update. As you can see, a lot of black soot. You can see where it's been leaking back. I'm putting air in through the return. Look at them two. Get them away, get them sorted.
Rob definitely needs an iPhone, and then he could airdrop it to me rather than sending it on WhatsApp and it losing quality. Everyone should have an iPhone, I think, because they just work. But here we go. There's going to start an uproar now about who prefers Samsung and who prefers iPhones. In fact, let's do a survey. Who's got iPhone and who's on Samsung? Let us know in the comments and we'll do a little survey and prove to Rob that I reckon 75% of the people are iPhone users rather than Samsung users. But yeah, do that. Yeah, so hopefully get that sorted, get them back in, and then that is all back up and running fine. Everyone thought I traded it in. It's 360 horsepower. I wasn't going to trade 360 horsepower in for 235, 240-ish. So it is here to stay. Also, we put a lot of work in painting it black as well, so don't want to sell it. Yeah. Right, anyway, I'm going to quickly go and do the birthday bumper. Only a small birthday bumper today. We got Lewis Taylor is 8, Mark Crussenden is on there, Brian Wilson 60, Mandy Layton and George Riley is 7. £45,927. If anyone wants to round that up, that'd be amazing. That's all for the Northwest Air Ambulance. Just shuffling everything around the shed to get everything in for the night. Rob's just arrived back with the rollers. Morgan's doing a little bit of disking. He shouldn't be so far behind. He's just levelling off some of the bean fields, and then we'll be ready soon then to start drilling. That's probably about all for today. It looks like lots of people agree that them toys that go behind the pedal tractors were cool, because there's so many people gone and followed her Instagram, and I think there's about 100,000 people when I looked this morning on TikTok and watched a video about it. So she's made up, so it's like brand awareness she's got now for them. So hopefully she might do some Richard Western trailers, because obviously they look cool in that colour yellow. That's why all our trailers are that colour. Even the hog was painted in that colour. So there we go, yeah. Anyway, that's all for today. It's only really been this afternoon, you've seen, because I didn't show you, but I've been on Zoom meetings since 8:30 this morning till nearly dinner time. So yeah, that was a bit of a random afternoon, but there's still plenty of stuff going on anyway. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.